Okay. I like now we have music. It's a different dynamic. What up, what up? Back at it again. Another week of what? Real Fans Podcast. I'm here. I'm Gabe. That's Julian. Julian, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? What's up, people? Back with another episode. Back with another one.
I feel like it's just us two. Always got to make the content happen. I feel like we're riding on our horses into the wild, wild west of what is the biggest sports thing going on every year. We're in the middle of what, week 11? I think we're in week 11. NFL news. I mean, the NFL never stops. It always makes news. Things always happening. I mean, Julian, we got to get to our first topic. What was the first thing that came on your mind this week? What's the biggest news in sports?
So the biggest news we have to talk about, probably the game of the year. One of the most incredible games I've seen ever, and for sure this year. We had probably the two of the top three best teams in the league, top four best teams in the league, go at it. The Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. The Vikings pull off an incredible comeback. Josh Allen chokes it, so on and so forth. Gabe, did you see the game? What did you think of the game? Do you think it's the game of the year?
I don't think it's the game of the year. I think it's pretty exciting because here's the thing. As much as I like Josh Allen, I think the Bills are good. I mean, Josh Allen, I've seen him cough it up a couple times this week. Let's not talk about him coughing it up against my Dolphins. I don't care what you think. Even though they gave the MVP ball to the Sun, Dolphins pulled that one out. I've seen him, he hasn't always been perfect. So, this was a perfect matchup. This was, the best matchup, definitely of the week. This was a matchup to look forward to. These are two, playoff teams,
Powerhouses.
NFC and AFC. But, yeah, man, I think overall, I mean, this was definitely a winnable game. I wasn't too surprised with the results. And then, like I said, when you see two good teams go at it, I mean, anybody has a chance to go. Julie, I don't know, what were your thoughts overall? I guess let's talk about Josh Allen's performance. Is he having a successful season after a loss to the Vikings?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's having a good season. I think he's had a couple mistakes throughout the season, but overall, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's still reliable. You still trust him to win games. Things happen. It's just kind of how it was. I think they were forcing it a little too much. They really wanted the win and not the tie. And then it just ultimately ended up being an interception right in the end zone. I believe he threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
For sure, 2.
Yeah.
I can't – for sure, 2. I can think of, both in the red zone and the end zone. I mean, but I think to me, the big one that I really want to talk about and the big topic is, do you think that the Vikings are the best team in the NFC? Eagles just suffered from their first loss. Yes, the Eagles did beat the Vikings. So on a fair basis, you have to say the Eagles are better. But you could arguably probably say the Vikings faced tougher opponents. But can you see the Vikings being number 1 seed once the playoff picture is set and the playoffs begin?
I definitely could see it. I'm going to look over the schedule, talk a little bit. I mean, they definitely have the skill set for it. The biggest question was always Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins does well, in late situations.
And the Eagles beat Kirk Cousins in prime time. Yeah. And everybody knows how Kirk Cousins is in prime time.
So, they definitely have the talent overall. You got Dalvin Cook, you got Jefferson. I forget who they added. Thielen. Thielen's not really having a great season this year.
He's not.
He can still be a productive player. I think the Vikings they're pretty good. If you look at their schedule ahead of time, who did they beat? They beat Buffalo, Arizona, Washington, Miami. Their schedule so far has been okay. And like you said, they had that loss early week 2 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they the best team? I think
that's what I'm saying.
They're the best team right now. I think they're playing very well, and they're setting themselves up to succeed and get a high, possibly get a bye week heading into the playoffs. So I don't think they're, I think they're playing, a little bit above expected. I think the season, as the game's going on, and now we're mid, we're almost, a little bit past halfway of the season. Vikings are playing pretty well. I'm not going to doubt them. I'm not going to say that they suck. But schedule, if you look at it schedule wise, I mean, I think it's been 50-50. They should have won a majority of the games that they did play. When you think about it, I mean,
Let me pull up the Viking schedule because I remember last week when I looked at the Eagles schedule, that Eagles schedule was really, really easy, and then they lost to a Commanders team.
yeah,
On top of that,
biggest.
so I mean, at least the Vikings' only loss was to what people consider the best team in the league, undefeated for 8 weeks. Like that was their only loss, and that's why, in my feeling, is that right now the Vikings are the team to beat. They are the best team right now. They're probably best on all sides of the field. Like they're really good, man. And then you can't. Their biggest thing right now, their biggest player right now, Justin Jefferson, which I said coming in, if you guys go back and watch the first episode for week 1, I was saying that we're going to end this season. I said that by the end of this season, Justin Jefferson is going to solidify himself as the best receiver in the league. And I think he is. He may not, I'm not sure who's actually first in yards, but to me, just like overall route running, his jump ball abilities, his hands, his speed. He's just, to me, his youth, like he's just the best player, the best wide receiver in the game. That catch that he made was incredible. Did you see that catch, Gabe?
Yes, it was pretty where he kind of had to go back. It looked like it was definitely going to get intercepted, but somehow, people are saying that the defender actually hit it enough to hit it back into Jefferson's hands, one-handed it from behind his head.
No, he was holding it down, and they kind of fought him.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's probably going to be the catch of the year. Because it wasn't just a one-handed catch. It was also kind of playing defense in a way because, the defender had advantage over. I can't think of who the corner was, but he had both hands on it, and Jefferson had the one, and he was just able to just squeeze that thing while mid-air falling. And it just shows the arm strength that he had to bring it back towards him and keep the ball from hitting the ground. That was just it. The body movement was just incredible. That catch is
it wasn't because it definitely like a straight up interception. I mean, the guy had 2 hands. The defender had 2 hands on it. Somehow he gets one and pulls it out. So thank goodness for tacky gloves, I would say. But it is pretty incredible. And that's not like only his best. That's his best definitely of the season. But he had other incredible catches. I'm a big Jefferson fan. I've got a couple of years him come out of LSU.
I'm actually going back and looking at the. Yeah, I was going to say actually going back and looking at the Viking schedule. It's a relatively easy schedule, but they did beat the Dolphins, who are now 6-3. You did beat the Bills
without Tua though, so let's put an asterisk on that one.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I think the Vikings they're sitting fine. I mean, there's definitely set themselves up for success. Even though they're tied now 8-1 with the Eagles, and they had that loss against the Eagles. So, but I think they should go deep. They should definitely compete in the NFC.
Especially, bro, the NFC is not strong at all. NFC is not that strong. In third place is the Seattle Seahawks, who's 6-4, and then it's the Eagles, Vikings, 8-1. They're borderline on the verge of clinching soon. If they can rattle off these next couple wins, they're going to clinch the playoffs. And like I said, Eagles have the tiebreaker because of the head-to-head percentage. But
by the way, just to attack on doing my due diligence. Justin Jefferson has 1,060 yards on the year, 4 touchdowns. That's only less than the other guy above him, Tyreek Hill, Miami, 1,150 was 4 touchdowns.
That's right. So, Tyreek Hill was leading, but god damn, bro, 10, both of them, Tyreek and Justin Jefferson, 1,000 yards in week 10.
Well, don't look too because Stephon Diggs has 985, number 3, and guess who has number 4? Also another Dolphins receiver with 878, Jalen Waddle. That's what I'm talking about. You got the 2 best.
That's crazy, man.
Receivers
week 10
in the game.
And you got 4 guys, two that are above 1,000, and another 2 that are right behind it. And you know what's crazy too? I didn't realize. So I'm curious who you think actually won the trade. I mean, I think it's a win-win situation, but the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs to the Bills for a first-round pick. That then first-round pick was then used to pick up Justin Jefferson. So looked like it ended up being an even trade. They still the Vikings still ended up getting a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah. Younger,
and the
cheaper.
Bills got what they wanted.
Yeah. and the Bills can maybe able to maintain
younger, cheaper. Okay.
And the Bills have been able to maintain, playoff presence or playoff expectations at least. For them, it's Super Bowl, but so for them to come in this week and have a loss, I mean, I thought definitely it was, like I said, that for the Vikings, it was definitely a winnable game. Bills, it was definitely a losable game, but this is still two playoff teams that are probably going to go deep. I don't think you should look down. I mean, Josh Allen is struggling a little bit, but I think they'll get it together, man. We're only halfway through the season. We're already dropping. We were talking about the Eagles earlier. Their tight end, Goddard, who I have on my fantasy team, is put on the IR today. So I'll be looking for another tight end. So, tough overall. We're halfway through the season. I think Vikings should be good overall, though. I mean, what is their schedule looking for? You still have that pulled up? The schedule for the rest of the week?
I got it. I got it right here. So the Vikings have the Cowboys next. Cowboys, Vikings, Jets, Lions, Colts, Giants.
I mean, that's
Packers, Bears.
Yeah, I mean, their next matchup we'll talk about this week when we do our predictions. I mean, Cowboys definitely a pretty good team.
I forgot about. By the way, I forgot that. I was going to say I forgot the Jets are actually the third best team in the NFC. What blocked it was because of the Jets. The Giants are the third best team at 7-2, but I missed it because I forgot the playoff picture's going by divisions, and the Eagles are ahead of them in the division. So it kind of messed me up for a second. But yeah.
Their next couple, next week definitely, Cowboys are a good team. I think the Jets are pretty good so far. Giants, are they frauds? We'll find out when they play December 24th. But I think the rest of it, like you have Detroit, the Bears, Green Bay, New England. Those are the Lions, the Colts. Those are winnable games. So I think overall,
those are all games you should win.
Yeah. If they lose, they might lose 3 or 4 more times. Maybe let's say they lose 3 times the rest of the way. I mean, you're 17.
They shouldn't. If they lose 3 times, that's very disappointing. I mean,
that's at most. I mean, they could probably win those games.
Well, it's 17 games now, so 13-4 or
14.
I see them being 14-3. I could see that. I could see them at slipping on some games. Still,
a 14.
So I can see a 14-3, which is a great season.
Yeah, it's still a great season.
It's a great season, dude.
Bro, Dolphins won 11.
That's enough for you to possibly get first.
Yeah,
that's definitely enough for them to end up being number 1 and getting the bye. I would have to see what the Eagles' following schedule is, but yeah, I think to me as it stands, Vikings are the best team in the NFC. Let's move on to the next topic, and we had a historic week for the NFL. Had a historic week. They played their first ever game in Germany, in Munich, Germany, in Allianz Stadium, same stadium as the soccer team Bayern Munich. And everything that game showed was how much the German fans love American football. Yeah. Apparently, the entire city was embracing it. There's NFL theme things everywhere. The atmosphere in the stadium everybody was raving about it. All the media people, all the players, all the coaches, everybody's saying that that atmosphere felt like a Super Bowl college atmosphere, but even heightened, but even more. Obviously, I'm sure you saw the clip going around where they played the why am I drawing a blank on the John Denver song? Take Me Home, or what? Yeah. What is? You know the name of the song? I'm drawing a blank.
Country Road, or is that come on?
Regardless,
whatever.
Country, yes, yeah. I know the words. I just can't think of the actual name of the song. But regardless, apparently, the Germans love that song. Apparently, that song and Sweet Caroline and another one, I guess American cult classic songs they love there as well. But to me, it's really cool to see because as somebody who watches a lot of world football, I've always said bro, these soccer fan bases are probably the most extreme fan bases, greatest atmospheres to ever go to. More than college football, more than basketball. These guys in Europe and South America, it is their life. A lot of, and especially in Germany, the fans actually own the teams. So I wasn't expecting anything less than the same environments you see for Bundesliga matches. So it was really cool to see that type of environment brought to American football. And yeah, they're definitely going to be doing more games in Germany. I think that atmosphere seemed way more intense than anything in London. But yeah, did you watch the game at all? And see obviously we haven't even talked about the game yet, but I'm just talking about everything that was going around.
Unfortunately, whenever I had these games are on so goddamn early, I always forget. I wake up, I'm walking around, making breakfast. It's 11 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit, they played a game. Or I'm looking at my fucking fantasy. I'm like, oh shit, there's stats up there already. I already got stats for Tom Brady. So I didn't see any of the proceedings overall, but I think overall it's a pretty good place. Germany, Munich, obviously we have military bases there. Pretty friendly. So I think overall it's a pretty good idea to have games like that, to have, especially at the beginning of the season where it's not too much of a haul. I feel like when
and that was
the
thing. Yeah, a lot of sorry to cut you off, but I was going to say a lot of the I guess the criticism was saying that the only reason why those tickets are selling out is because there's a lot of a big U.S. military presence there. But it's no, those are real German fans and just European fans in general. Apparently, there's people from all over Europe and even Africa in some places to watch that game because it was the closest they're going to get to an NFL game. People from Sweden, Norway, Germany, Poland, Italy, Spain, all over. So.
Yeah. And I'm not against it. I mean, like I said, I think it's easier to do, especially these fun games like these London games, whatever, in the beginning of the season. It's kind of tough to do it in the middle of the season, have guys travel 2-3 days, and, you make a trip like that. Obviously, these guys want to get experience. You don't want to just go fly for the game and fly back. These guys hang around for a little bit. So hopefully they can work out, these travel games where they're going halfway across Europe to where they can at least have a bye week off the next week or something to give them, a chance to either, rest and kind of export, it's kind of exporting a little bit of piece of America, a little piece of Americana around the world. So I think it's a cool event. Did you want to talk, Julian? You talking about earlier of how the NFL is expanding?
Yeah. So apparently reports just came out that obviously this isn't the end of the international games.
Yeah.
They're talking about, because I think this season there was 4 or 5. I think there was a few London games, then there's a Germany game, and then there's a Mexico City game, I think, next week. But now they're talking about possibly doing 8 to 9 games, I believe, with 2 new locations being Spain and France. Nothing's confirmed yet, but I'm not entirely surprised. They say Spain is way more likely than France. And that has to do with the Spanish infrastructure that NFL already has. So with the French stuff, it'd be a little difficult because you're talking about a new language. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have something for the Canadians in French Canada that watch American football. Maybe they have some sort of commentator stuff there. But the Spanish stuff would be just an easy transition because the NFL already has this massive network of Spanish commentators and so on and so forth because of all the Mexican and Latin American fans here in the United States. So they say Spain will just be a very natural fit. And apparently in Spain, there's a huge Miami Dolphins fan presence there and Bears. And it's because, how we were talking about a few months ago, I think it was early summer, about how each team has their own market.
Yeah, I think you showed us that map, right? We were talking about
the map.
So Brazil has a weird team.
Yeah, so the Dolphins have Brazil and Spain. And because of that, I guess there's a huge fan base there. And the Bears also have Spain. So they're looking at Spain probably. They didn't give a timeline, but I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing it next year for sure. I mean, the one thing we know about the NFL is they're quick to move. Boom, 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 let's go. If there's money to be made, they'll do it. So I can definitely see Spain next year. Maybe not France, but like I said, the Spain is an easy fit. It's an easy fit because that infrastructure is already there. It's just about moving a lot of those guys and those commentator stuff over there. But yeah, what do you think about your Dolphins maybe losing a home game?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll be okay with it. I mean, it's tough because hopefully it's later in the season when it's cooler because I do want that sun advantage. I want the sun burning. Where every week some commentator gets on there and says, "Oh, we talk about a thermometer. It's 700 degrees on the sideline. How is it possible?" Even though it's 80 degrees in Florida, somehow it's 700 degrees on the sideline. I'm definitely fine with it. I think this has been the NBA's plan all along to kind of expand the game. NFL's to expand the game, and I think we had a discussion on this podcast earlier. Them actually putting a team there. which we always thought was going to be Jacksonville because they're always playing there, or some kind of East
No,
Coast
that's
team.
not happening.
But I mean, it's still possible, man. Doesn't he own the English team? He owns a football team. He owns a soccer, English football and soccer.
And you know, it's funny. I was listening to Dan Patrick, and they're talking about this, and they brought on, I think, Peter King to break the news of the rumors going around, and apparently they're a long way from thinking about putting teams there, because one of the big things right now is no team wants to move from the cities that they're in. Every team is invested in the city that they're in. A lot of teams are getting new facilities and new infrastructure. So they're trying to build what's around and it's already there. And like he said, like obviously everybody was always talking about Jacksonville going to London, but that's just not happening. Like I just went to the stadium a couple weeks ago. There's a lot of development going around there. They're talking about redoing the stadium. They're not moving. No one's moving. So the only logical option is to expand to 36 and do a division over there. But then they're saying the owners are probably not going to like that, because obviously you add 36 teams, you're divvying up their slice of the pie even more. But who knows? Because then if you do put the teams over there, maybe it'll balance itself out and you're going to get more fans. But who knows? We'll see. Only the future will tell. And I think the travel is going to be a big thing until we get to the point where they have I think United Airlines said that in 2029 they're going to start doing those supersonic planes where you can do transatlantic flights in 3 hours. Until we get to that point, to where those planes can cut the flight time in half, it's going to be a while. And I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL is working with these airlines and like keeping up to date with when these things are possible. Because the moment that it is.
I was just thinking about this while you were talking. I was like, because I was wondering, we went through a pandemic and it was already hard enough for them, obviously, to put a season through. They did do it without obviously people in the stands. But they were able to do a season somehow, scrap up, put fake sounds on TV. But I wonder about something like if, God forbid, another pandemic happened, and now we're dealing with Europe, right? We're doing with the Euro. We're putting this in countries that actually shut down more than America was. So, like, how would being international and during those international laws and these rules, setting up in a different country, how would that affect the season? You know what I mean? Like I said, God forbid something happened, or you can't fly because whatever.
We almost saw it with even certain states here. Certain states were just so locked down that some teams lost a lot of money.
Whatever they're going to make in tickets, whatever they're going to make in extra ticket revenue, people in butts in seats, they probably lost on that, not on the advertising, which is why they had to scrap it. They're like, we can lose, $40 billion or we can lose $20 billion. They're like, fuck it. If we're going to lose money, might as well lose 20 instead of the 40.
To me, my biggest thing is figuring out the currency, like exchanges, the exchange rates. Having to deal with that, I feel like could be a pain in the ass. And then also having to have players move to Europe. Obviously, in soccer, that's very normal for people to move across the ocean to play. But in America, that's not necessarily the idea. And then there's a certain glitz and glamour. And like, what are the advertisers going to look like? So say you're playing for the Germany-based team, like, are you going to get that same like star recognition as if you're playing in New York or LA? There's a certain aspect, but then you could say the same thing about somewhere playing in Jacksonville or Green Bay. But at the end of the day, money's still money. And you also like you have the tax situation too. Like, our players like, hey, I can make this money here in Canada. Like a hockey, you see it a lot in hockey. That's what Tampa Bay Lightning are so good. They're able to like give lower contracts, but these players are technically getting paid more than playing in like Toronto or Montreal because they're going to take like, I don't make up a number. I don't know. I'm not an accountant, but like say half, whatever, versus Florida, they take like 20. That's a lot. That's millions. I'm curious how that would work out in that aspect.
Also, I was thinking, so I think that I do like the way the NFL is doing it. They pick a couple cities, and it's kind of like a novelty, right? It's like the circus coming into town. It's like a novelty for right now. So, you're almost guaranteeing, you're talking about ticket sales earlier. You're almost guaranteeing a sellout. It's like, this is as close as I'm going to get to the NFL. We have to go. But I wonder, like, I don't think it's going to be expanded out. If they do expand it to Europe, I don't think it's going to happen like in the next 3 or 5 years. But, if it's possible that they might like pick like 2 cities and drop 2 teams in there, and then all the NFL games they'll have Arizona
And
play whoever, the London Bridgers or whatever.
And here's another thing that a lot of people don't realize who are just NFL fans and don't watch like World Soccer, because I'm taking a little bit of the knowledge I know from that. Tickets in Europe and even in Mexico, I don't know what they cost for these games. Maybe they're equivalent to ticket prices that we pay here, but tickets over there and everything over there in general is just cheaper. So it's like, can you charge European fans $80 for nosebleeds like you can here? And because they're like, from what I've always seen is like, I guess they don't play that shit. Like they're like, no, if you start like raising ticket prices too crazy, people are going to stop going. And also too, in those they're not allowed to serve alcohol in a lot of those stadiums, which I didn't know. I found that out like a couple months ago. Like in England, they can't serve beer during games because I guess it causes rowdiness or whatever.
Yeah, there's some places where you can't even bring it to your seat. Like you have to drink it out in the hallway.
I heard a thing. It was like in some of the soccer stadiums, like the British fans, they would go to the pub because there's pubs like all next to the stadium. They would tell the bartenders like, "Hey, have our beer ready for halftime." They leave the stadium, go grab their beer, walk back and drink it, and walk back to the stadium right back for halftime. Right after halftime. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that go into that, like So I'm really curious to see what the future holds for that. But as for the Dolphins being possibly playing in Spain, let's actually talk about the Dolphins themselves. Dolphins are back to where they were in the beginning of the season. They are on a roll again. They still can't stop a nosebleed, but they're putting up enough points to possibly win this division. Gabe, with the Bills now dropping 2 games, the division is now tight with 3 teams with three losses, and the Patriots right behind them with 4 losses. So it's a really tight division right now, probably the best division in the league currently as it stands record-wise. Do you think the Dolphins can get over the Bills and the Jets? Because I think your next games, you got to play I think they both played you at home.
On the road, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to have to play on the road in Buffalo and in New York in the cold. So let me see what the schedule is.
As far as the Dolphins, I think they have 6 of their last 8 is like on the road. So we have definitely a tough schedule. Where we had this thing where it was kind of hard in the beginning. You play the Ravens, you play the Bills, which are going to be tough. You got to win there, but somehow you get a loss to the Vikings. You get a loss to the Jets, which nobody expected. So right now we're kind of in the still the middle easy part, but definitely we're going to have a tough road ahead. But to answer your question going forward, you look at the schedule.
So I got the schedule up right now.
Okay, go ahead.
You got 3 more warm games. You got Texans indoor, San Francisco, which isn't so bad in early December, and you got LA. But then after that, man, you're playing in straight snow most likely. You got the Bills.
No
Oh, wait, never mind. You guys got the Packers at home.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's not right. Did you guys play the Jets? Oh, you guys did play the Jets at New York.
Two was out.
You played them at New York. Never mind then.
Yeah, Tua was out.
So, yeah, you got the Bills, and then you got New England on the road, and then you play the Packers and the Jets at home. And it might come down to that final Jets game.
Yeah.
You might be sitting there week 18 trying to get that home playoff game.
Obviously, we lose to the Bengals. Shouldn't have lost. Lose to the New York, which you could say we shouldn't have lost, but they're a pretty good team.
New York's good.
The Vikings are obviously number 1 or number 2 in that division. So as far as the division itself, I definitely think the Dolphins have it in their hands. Now, there's some weird things where we have right now we have a tick above the Bills because we beat them, but the Jets have a tick above us because they beat us, but the Jets have a lesser record. So it's definitely tight. I think, but right now, as far as this week, we're talking about week 11. The Dolphins have the destiny in their hands, right? If they lose or win, if they start dropping down, it's only because of their actions. Not like we're stumbling. It's not like we're falling upstairs. We're stumbling into first place. Right now they have
because you guys have the ball. The ball's in your court. You have all the tiebreakers.
Yeah.
Well, you're 7-3, but you don't have a bye yet. So
yeah. We can. We have a bye week and then we come hit Houston. So I think we're in a perfect spot. Like yes, we have some tough losses with Tua being out, Tua getting injured, and us losing those games. But I think overall, I think the Dolphins are in a good seat, and they can. We've proven we can beat the Bills at least one time. Josh Allen's having some tough losses where he's not performing. As far as MVP candidate, like I feel like he had a cleaner, more consistent year last year than this year. I've seen the chinks in the armor. Him bouncing passes, him overthrowing people, him looking tired, him looking exhausted. Right now he's hurt. Also, I think he's dealing with injuries as well.
He's running a lot. He's taking hits.
So, but overall, I think the Bills will clean it up. It's definitely going to be tight. But right now, as a Dolphin fan, I'm feeling really good. I feel like we have destiny in our hands. Although, we could have been in a better spot at this point in the season. I'm just going to, be grateful for what we have. And grateful that we actually have a good quarterback. Julian, I don't know if you've seen his performances to his stat line, his game line, since coming off an injury, coming back. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I will admit, I will eat crow. I was not a Tuanon believer.
Come on over.
He has been proving me wrong. He is playing extremely well. Also, doesn't help that he has two of the top 5 best receivers in the league, which is what you needed, and which I always said. I said Tua is always going to be a guy, which obviously we'll see when Tyreek Hill eventually moves on. Who knows how long Waddle stays? But I've always said, like, Tua's a guy, he needs straight up ballers on the field with him. Because he came from Bama. He needs guys. He needed guys.
Premier players.
Like a Waddle, like a Tyreek Hill that he could rely on and just hit him. So, look, you can't knock him for that. You wanted that for him. But only time will tell to see how things. But I think as of right now, he has shut up the doubters as it stands. He has been playing really well. I'll give him credit where credit is due.
Again, he
still needs a run game, though.
2 receivers that are probably catch, 1,000+ yards right now. We're already halfway through the season. Probably catch, 1,500 or more. Probably 100 receptions. People were saying, oh, they're going to get 100 receptions each, Hill and Waddle. And it looks like, if they keep up the pace, this is built on a house of cards. So if any of these guys get injured, especially Tyreek Hill, if this guy gets down, if his ankle swells up, it's going to be real rough. Waddle's still a good player. Like he still had a good season last year.
Real quick, Tyreek has 81 receptions. Waddle has 51 receptions. So Tyreek's going to get it really soon.
Yeah.
Waddle, he might not get 100. He would have to really go off these next 7 games to really get it.
Still, to get up there at a high clip, I think he can at least.
If he gets over 75, that's a plus. Which is really good.
Yeah. So, having a really good season. I think that as far as Dolphins in the division, they have destiny in their hands. Right. It's going to be a tough road game. Obviously, we have a bye week coming back to Houston. That should be an easily winnable game. But who never knows? They NFL, and we could see some wild shit. We saw the Commanders beat the Eagles. But
Heineke, the GOAT.
Heineke. I like Heineke, man. He's all right.
He's a fighter, dude.
I like Heineke, man.
He's not the most talented guy, but man, you could try. Like if he comes in, like you have a little bit of faith. Like
I was never down there. I'm not saying Heineke's Hall of Famer, but he's a decent quarterback. He's nice to have.
He's a great backup. He's an amazing backup.
But Julian, I don't know. Overall, what do you think about the AFC East with the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins? How do you feel like it's going to turn out for the rest of the season? Do you feel the Bills are strong enough that they can atop the Miami Dolphins?
Bills have been there and done that. It's hard until the Bills get knocked off. You can't really bet against them, even though they have lost to the Jets and the Dolphins. I still gotta lean towards the Bills. I feel like they've been there, done that. They're really good on both sides of the ball. The Dolphins really worry me defensively. They really do. Because even that Bills win, they still let Josh Allen throw 400 yards. The Jets, I think, are a better team. I think the Jets can really compete with the Bills, but I feel like New York is still young. I feel like Zach Wilson, he's on track to be a good quarterback. He's progressing really well. I just don't think he's ready yet. I think Tua is a step ahead of him because he has that extra year. but Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the division as it stands right now, and I can't bet against that.
Well, who guess we got player of the week this week? It was Tua Tagovailoa. Thank you very much.
But
I appreciate
talking
that.
about team winning the division, I like the Jets team as a whole, defensively and offensively. Unless all of a sudden the Dolphins defense can really rattle it together, that worries me, man.
Yeah.
It really does. That doesn't worry you?
What worried me?
The amount of points that your defense lets up?
I think it does, but we've been dealing with injuries. Obviously, we're getting guys back now. I think Emmanuel Ogba, our defensive end, went down a season-ending tricep injury, which is pretty rough because that guy's pretty good. But with the addition of Chubb and these guys coming back off of injury, Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, so I think we'll get it together. Like by the end of the season, I think this week 11 break,
good enough to win games.
Good enough to win games for right now. I believe in Tua. I've seen him come back on incredible wins versus the Ravens, versus the Bills. Come back in tough situations, and he's just accurate, bro. His stats for the season. This guy's his passer rating. I had it pulled up, but I lost it. He's throwing like 70%, averaging 70%. He's up in the high 60s, 65, 69, 71% completion rate. His QB rating has been up and down, but he's playing well, man. Like I said, this is built on a house of cards. As long as Waddle and Tyreek Hill are healthy, I expect continued success. These guys to have 100 yards is not out of the question. Yes, it sounds crazy, but he's playing very well. The games he's been in, they win. He's been playing pretty well, and I think we know that he's a good quarterback. It's what I've been saying all along. Hashtag Tua on hashtag where
we think one. We know he's a good quarterback.
No, man, I knew all along. I believed him. I loved him. I love him so much. I love him like a son. But yeah, he's for real, man. He's good. Tua's good. Dolphins are in a good spot right now as far as this point in the season. Gonna get rough. Gonna get rougher. All right, it's gonna be. I'm gonna sound a different tone in a couple weeks. But for right now, I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Right.
You want to get into? Let's do our predictions. I have my screen shared.
Let's do picks of the week. Gabe, do you have the record?
Man, I had the record for last week. I didn't calculate for last week, but we'll get on it. Let's just do this for now. I know you complain. You say, "Hey, is he going to count every week?" You can do the record. Not this week. I'll do it. I promise. Get it done.
Because I know sometimes we skip weeks, so it's like there's no point in combining it all together every single week. But we just go based off what happened last week. But Thursday Night Football, which is tomorrow, we are recording this on a Wednesday. We have another kind of crappy game.
All these prime games have been poo-poo, man. Thursday, first of all, I hate Thursday Night Football. It's when it's a good matchup. I hate it. But these games have been especially crap. Titans.
These are probably the worst the string of Thursday night games I have ever seen. Like, it is like it almost feels like they're intentionally doing it. Like, it is so bad. And some of them, they actually, like, if you came into the season, you're like, oh, that's going to be a good Thursday night game. No. Like, these, like, everything just ended up being so bad. Like, you would have probably thought the Titans and Packers would be a good game. Nope.
Sounding. Maybe if A.J. Brown was still with them and if Aaron Rodgers still had Devontae Adams and they were actually good.
But let's get into it. Tennessee Titans
football
at the Green Bay Packers. Titans are +3. The Green Bay Packers are -3. This is going to be a very low-scoring game.
Yes, I was going to say take that under on the total points.
I was going to say, I will definitely take the under on total points, which is 41. There's no way they're hitting 41. This is going to be a 14-17 game, 100%. I'm getting that under.
They're in Wisconsin, so I'm gonna go stick with the home team.
It might snow.
Yeah, it might snow. It might be snow. Where this part where Packers might pull out that run game again. Aaron Jones on my fantasy gonna give me some points. Finally.
Is he hurt? Is he back? I know he was hurt.
I can't remember. I have to look up individually, but yeah, man, this game, Caca Bowl. Give me the Packers at home, but give me the total points under. This is gonna be a low scoring game. And
interesting.
If they win by 2 field goals, it'll be a celebration. Maybe it's a push. No, maybe it's a push.
I hate the Tennessee
Packers
Titans
push.
with all my heart. I hate the Tennessee Titans with all my heart, but they're the better team right now. They're fighters, and I like their running game more with Derrick Henry. Just past Earl Campbell, the most touchdowns for a running back. Give me the Titans +3.
All right, I'll take the Packers, and hopefully it's the push. All right, Another game is going to be the Carolina Panthers at the Ravens. Carolina, I don't know how
Team
you
that
feel.
just gets worse.
Minus
every
13
week.
for the Ravens. I mean, that's a lot of points. That's a lot.
Minus 13 for the Ravens, plus 13 for the Carolina Panthers, and you're at Baltimore. I like the Panthers. I'm not huge on Baltimore's defense. Give me the Panthers with the points, but Baltimore wins.
Yeah, give me the Panthers to cover because that's a lot of points. That's 2 touchdowns, but I mean, Panthers are the mouse. They have to at least cover. The great ones win. The good ones cover. All right, let's go. Browns at Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 7.5-point favorites. To me, I feel like there's a lot of points too. I feel like a little bit better minus 6.5, but 7.5.
No, give me the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills straight up.
Jacoby Brissett is not it. Like now, the Bills. What happened with Deshaun Watson? I haven't been following the Browns at all. Like, is he injured or something? Like,
he's expected to come back because remember he's out for 11 weeks, so we're at week 11.
Oh, that's right. It changed. So, I'm thinking that it was 6 weeks still.
Yeah, that's all they were talking about when they were playing the Dolphins. He's been expected. Reports are he's expected to start.
I forgot. It was
Jacoby
no longer
Brissett.
6 weeks.
Yeah, Brissett was in for them. They played the Dolphins.
Yeah, give me the Bills. I think the Bills can win by 10. The Browns just got smoked by the Dolphins. The Bills are going to be even worse.
I'll take the Bills. I'll take the Bills as well. All right, let's go to the next game. We got the Eagles, who just came off a tough loss against the Commanders. Eagles at the Colts. Eagles are a favorite, minus 6.5 on the road. What do you got, Julian? What do you think?
This is a tough one. Colts just won their first game with Jeff Saturday.
Yeah. I think they're sticking with Matt Ryan. I think
Matt Ryan's back in the thing.
Back in the lineup.
I know they pulled him. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be back in there. But I don't know. I feel like it's very unpredictable. I'm gonna go with the Eagles with the minus 6.5. I think Eagles win the game regardless. I'm just not sure how competitive the Colts are going to be. That's what kind of worries me. But give me the Eagles. I think they bounce back after a tough loss against the Commanders. And you're indoors.
Yeah, you're indoors. I think the Eagles are pissed off. They come off a sorry-ass loss by the sorry-ass Commanders. Eagles are pissed off. They cover minus 6.5. Give me them. All right. Let's go Jets at Patriots. We're talking about in-division rivalry. Jets are fighting. Right now they're number 3 in the division. And they are a road dogs. Patriots being a favorite, minus 3.5. Do the Patriots cover 3.5 points, Julian?
No, I actually have the Jets winning this game outright. I'll take the Jets with the money line plus 138.
Who's their quarterback? Is Zappy quarterback? If they have Zappy, they have a chance. If not, I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think the Jets are really good. I don't know injury situations, but I'm gonna go with the Jets.
I'm honestly surprised by the 3.5. I would have thought maybe like 1.5 to the Patriots.
Minus 164. I mean, are they that?
I like the Jets, man. I like the Jets to win this.
Money line. All right. Let's go. Commanders coming off a big win at Texans. Doodle Bowl. I'll take the Commanders. Minus 3.5. Commanders are favorites. I'll take the Commanders with 3.5 points. They win.
Yeah, give me the Commanders. Houston. I still can't believe the Jags gave Houston their only win. That bothers me. But
anyways, all right. Rams at Saints. I believe it was announced today. The Saints are sticking with Andy Dalton. The Saints are home favorites, minus 4.5 points against the LA Rams, who are banged up, tons of injuries. I believe.
What a fall from grace!
Yeah, fall from grace. Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. I guess. Listen, when you make a deal with the devil to win the Super Bowl, you have to sacrifice something.
Is Odell back? I didn't follow it.
Odell's been on a tour, bro. I saw him. I thought he was at I thought he was at a Miami Heat game one time.
Dude, I don't know.
You've seen in Buffalo. He's in all these sporting events. He's in New York going to basketball games. He's traveling.
I swear, because like the only reason I thought that because I don't follow Odell at all.
Yeah,
but I saw something that it was like it was in fantasy. My boy picked up Odell Beckham. I was like, yeah, what kind of inside scoop do you have? You're picking up Odell Beckham. So I was like, so I'm not sure what's happening. I wasn't sure if the Rams are bringing him back or what exactly was going on with that. So that kind of threw me off for a second.
Yeah. So apparently, obviously, he's coming off of surgery, and what's been rumored, I'm looking here for stories. He talked about the Cowboys or the Giants. I'm pretty sure he just, at this point in his career, he wants to get on a winning team, winning
Yeah, he's
playoff
just gonna
team.
bounce around, dude. He's
So, but he's a California guy. Everybody thought he was going to go, come back with LA Rams, but yeah, he's out there floating around doing his tour of cities and games.
give me New Orleans.
New Orleans, wow.
Orleans. At
Man.
home. They're fighters, dude. New Orleans they're fighters.
I think the Saints win, but they don't cover their points. I think they win by like 3. I got the Saints winning, but
You
I
think
got
they
the
get with
Rams to
them?
cover. I got the Rams to cover.
What are the Saints at? They're 3-7, but I always feel like they're in games. Like I don't know. Like I have to check their scores, but I feel like every time I look over, I haven't followed the Saints at all, but I just feel like they're always in games.
So we'll see. Andy Dalton at the helm. All right, let's go Lions at Giants. Giants are minus 3.5 points at home. I'm going to go Giants to cover that. Giants get more than 3 points to beat the Lions.
It's a little disrespectful to the Giants. I mean,
I'm
obviously
done.
the Lions can put up a shit ton of points, even though they just can't win games and they can't stop anybody. So, and you're at New York, give me the Giants.
All right. Let's go Bears at Falcons. A doodle. I think the Falcons have somehow turned it around. They've had some crazy wins, but I don't expect much out of them. Give me the Falcons at home. Minus 3.
Falcons are fighting for a playoff spot. They got something to play for. They're only one game behind Tampa. Give me the Falcons at home.
All right. Vegas Raiders at the Broncos. One of the afternoon games, Dookie Bowl. Somehow the Raiders are bad. Somehow the Raiders are bad and the Broncos are bad. Oh, my God. So awful.
This division is a mystery. I don't know what happened. We really thought this division was going to – even the Chargers, they're 5-4, but they don't look that great either. I mean, they got a ton of injuries. But, man, give me Denver. I think Denver can win by a field goal.
Yeah.
Give me Denver with the
minus 2.5 points. Broncos Nation, let's ride. All right.
Let's ride. Broncos country, I think it is. It's Raiders.
Whatever.
Nation.
Cowboys at the Vikings, probably one of the best games of the week. Cowboys on the road are minus 1.5 favorites for this matchup. Man, this is going to be pretty tough. I think the Cowboys have a better defense, I would say, but don't be surprised if the Vikings pull it out. Give me the Vikings at home, man. I think they're just coming off an electric win.
Wow, this spread is really shocking to me. I mean, the Vikings just took down the Bills.
Should be a fun matchup.
And they're home dogs.
Yeah.
This to me, take the money line, get the plus 106, make you money.
Yeah,
this is a Vikings dub.
And you got the over under total points 47.5, so 48 points. Should be 20.
That's tough.
20 to 20 or 30 to 10 is that thing?
I would honestly probably take the over on that.
Yeah.
I could see a 30-20 game.
I'm riding with the Skull Nation. All right, Bengals at Steelers, division rivalry. Bengals not having a great season. But they're favored on the road, minus 4.5 on the road at Pittsburgh. Julie, what do you think?
I'm just happy that Pittsburgh fans are finally losing. I hate Pittsburgh fans. I don't care if you're a fan of the show. I don't like you. So give me the Bengals minus 4.5. They're
really?
The better team. Pittsburgh this is an off year for them. They're not gonna.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers, man. Just to go opposite. I feel like they will cover the points. They will cover the points. All right.
But Bengals win.
Chiefs, Chargers. Chiefs on the road in LA. Minus 5.5 points for the Chiefs. Do you think the Chiefs cover their points? I think this is
this was a good game earlier, and this was probably the only good Thursday night football game that was on. This was the first one, I believe, as well. Give me the Chargers plus 5.5. I think this game is going to be close. So I think Chiefs win, but this game's going to be close.
I think the Chargers are dealing with tons of injuries. Obviously, Herbert.
They are, but I just feel like they're fighters.
Mike Williams is out. Their run game with Akers is awful.
Oh, Eckler,
I'm sorry. Oh, actually, Eckler's having a good season. Akers was the other LA team.
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs, man. Chiefs, 6 points. Give me Mahomes. Mahomes can score a touchdown. He can win by a touchdown. Give me the Chiefs on the road, 6 points. Right. They cover, they win. Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football.
49ers at Arizona. I think this is 49ers Easy 49ers. 9 points, 10 points.
Really?
Easy money. I don't care. I don't care who the Cardinals. I don't care how many wide receivers the Cardinals have. I think
That's a spread for the Niners, man. I'd not trust the Niners to get a 9-point spread at all.
I mean, it's Cardinals.
Niners win, but give me the Cardinals. There's no shot the Niners are beating somebody. Like,
wow.
I don't even know if have they even gotten that like at all this season? I gotta see.
No, well, they didn't have Christian McCaffrey for the beginning of the season, so that's erroneous.
I mean, they have gotten it. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I don't see it. Now with the Cardinals are not good. They've been all over the place, but I think they're good enough to keep it within 10.
All right. I think that's it for the week.
All right. Let's see who ends up winning.
Again, I'll have that calculated up next week, but I think we're pretty much we're all under 500%, so it's not like we can talk shit. Like I'm 43, 42. It's like, I don't really talk that much shit. We're not even 500.
Honestly, dude, this season has been like all over the place. Like it's been crazy.
I think it should be fun going for next week. All right, let's talk about other football news because football is always making news. Let's talk about the NCAA. We talked about a little bit. We've been following a little bit closely. I told you in the chat that Alabama, this is the most beatable Alabama team. Somehow they lose to LSU, lose to Tennessee early in the season. Probably 2-3 loss team. I don't know who they play next week, but let's talk about the NCAA rankings and how you feel about them so far. Have they been fair going into now we're heading into bowl season? Have the rankings been fair in your opinion?
I think Georgia is rightfully where they should be. The fact that Tennessee ever hopped them, I mean, I get why they did it, but I thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabe's got it up now. Yeah, I like it. I think it's about fair if I'm looking at the college playoff rankings. I'm usually a big AP 25 fan. I like what they do. And Georgia's just going to run away with this.
Yeah, I think
they are, man.
I think we're in the Georgia era, man. I think we're in the Georgia era.
This is the Georgia era. You know what's crazy I was listening to, and it makes so much sense, is that Georgia college football has been leaning so much towards offense, where defense has been so atrocious in college football like these past 10 years. Georgia's going back to that old school style of playing heavy defense. And Georgia they kind of went the opposite route. Obviously, they're still putting up points, but Georgia's heading back to that early Alabama era where defense over everything. And they got some big boys on the line, and they're just out muscling everybody. Ohio State and Michigan, this is probably the strongest the rivalry has been in a while. Both teams are really good in back-to-back seasons, both undefeated. That's going to be a really good game to watch to see who fights for the second seed. And TCU having a year. I don't see them giving it away from TCU. I would love to see TCU continue to win. The only way they stay in that playoff race is if they win out. The moment they lose, they're done, especially this late in the season. They even if it wasn't late in the season, they have to go undefeated. You have to be like a Cincinnati. You got to win out to be respected. You got to make it to where it's undeniable. You know what I mean? There is going to be a big game coming up. UCLA, USC. That's going to be a huge game.
Yeah.
At the Rose Bowl. So it's going to be awesome to see. I don't see anybody knocking down Georgia. I really don't. I mean, unless Tennessee can pull off some sort of upset or some in the wait, is Tennessee in the same division in the SEC as?
Let me see.
But because you know how you have the conferences and they're split. Are they on the same side?
Tennessee, SEC.
I believe they aren't. I'm not sure.
They're in the East with Georgia, Florida, Kentucky.
Okay, so they're not going to get it.
SEC East.
Yeah, so they're not going to get it. So it has to be LSU they're probably going to play. Which is a shame. That sucks. That man, as a Tennessee fan, that really sucks. But yeah, most likely it's going to be LSU. LSU's probably not. It's probably going to win out. They already beat Alabama, so we're going to be looking at an LSU Georgia standoff. I mean, man, could you see, even if, say hypothetically, I don't see it happening, but say hypothetically LSU beats Georgia, do you knock Georgia out of the top 4?
I mean, I don't
and then,
think you can, right?
We
had a situation with LSU.
And do you squeeze LSU in?
I mean, LSU definitely has to go up. I don't think you bump them out the top 4 if they lose.
Because, all right, say this. Hypothetically, LSU beats Georgia. Then Ohio State and Michigan are going to go against each other. If one of them beats each other, whoever it is, you can't really knock them 2 out. And then if TCU goes undefeated, do you knock out TCU? Is that fair to them?
I don't think at this point in the season
to let in a 2-loss team
above to the Final Four. You think?
Yeah. Even if they beat a Georgia,
yeah, I think at this point Georgia still has to stay up there. So even if they lose to LSU, they still have to play. They still have to play, and who knows? They can still beat them. But if there's a situation which I think we had last year, heading into the playoffs, I think you still have to keep them up there. Like they've won.
If they lose, you can't take them out. You
can't. I think they still have to be a top team because everybody's expecting them to be in that final team. And if you're a fan if you're one of these SECers are the best. SEC is the only division. That's the toughest, roughest, rootinest, tootinest. And you definitely want Georgia in your Final Four, right? Because
the SEC's winning it this year.
Yeah.
They just are. Clemson's not going to make it. USC.
They're getting better.
I just don't believe you take out Michigan or Ohio State. They're just you're not, like, whoever wins that game. Look, you're a 2 that lost to a 3, or you're a 3 who lost to a 2. You're not taking those. They're just going to flip flop. And then TCU, if they win out, the only thing that would really shake things up is if TCU lost. TCU loses, then boom, whole door opens for Tennessee.
Yeah,
door opens,
2 or 3 lost teams.
Yeah, door opens for USC if they're able to beat UCLA. Clemson, like that will shake up everything. But I don't know who TCU faces next. But I don't see them happen. I just don't see that happen. So,
all right.
It looks like we both got Georgia. Yeah. Georgia pretty much just knocking it out of the park.
Hopefully they just continue winning. Continue success. Congratulations.
Good for the Georgia fans. They haven't won in a while.
Yeah. They have Mark Richt.
It's been a minute. It's been a few decades.
Yeah.
So anyways, next week we're gonna swap over to the other football. We've been talking about straight football. So how about the World Cup, man?
I know you've been excited about this.
The biggest event on the planet. I think around 4 billion views last World Cup. It is the world sport. Everybody's eyeballs are going to be it. USA is back in the mix after not being in it in 2018. They are now back in it. My beloved Costa Rica is back in it once again for the 3rd straight time. Gabe, are you looking forward to the World Cup? Are you going to watch some soccer? Are you going to watch some football?
I'm definitely going to get a chance, to watch it whenever I can, because I know we're going to talk about it here on the show. So overall, am I excited? I want to see what the USA men's do, because they've always been traditionally terrible. I think we're in a tough seed, tough to pull out. It's a tough group. So it's something I'll look forward to. I don't have very high expectations, because when it comes to men's soccer, I never have any high expectations. I never do jack shit when it comes to these world.
A lot of people have high expectations. This is considered to be, for those who don't know, this is the golden era. We have more players playing in the top 5 leagues in Europe than ever before. Pretty much our whole starting 11 is going to be players in Europe, most likely, that are playing at the top clubs in the world. But our average age is 24. We are one of the youngest clubs, one of the youngest national teams in the World Cup. Super inexperienced. Obviously, you have the guy that everybody's deeming Captain America, Christian Pulisic. He has probably the most pressure out of anybody in the CONCACAF region. People are looking him to be like, the leader for that team. But we will see. It's definitely a group they can get in the top two, for sure. It's not the strongest group, but it isn't the easiest group either. But I do think they could be good enough to get second place. I think they can get a win over Iran, and I think they can get a win over Wales. England is going to be a tough one. That's going to be a very emotional one for Americans and British fans. Me personally, there's nothing I would love more than to see England lose. I hate the British fan base. I can't stand them. They're the most toxic, worst fans on the planet. I hope that they lose against the United States. That would literally just make my heart just like so warm inside. When I saw Italy beat England in the 2020 Euros, it was amazing. And I hope that they shut down that fucking "it's coming home" bullshit and America steps in like the boss they are, fucking win, even though they're probably not. But they can even pull out a tie. But I think the goal for USA is just to get out of the group stage.
Yeah.
Get out of the group stage, get into the quarterfinals or the round of 16. And for our region, getting to the quarterfinals is like winning the Super Bowl. You get to the quarterfinals, that is huge. That's the farthest any CONCACAF team has. The last CONCACAF team to do it was Costa Rica in 2014. So, yeah, I hate all the players are over there in Qatar right now. The only thing that's going to suck is the time. The time difference, the time change is going to be awful. Really sucks. So
that's what I was going to say. That it seems like, but I mean, once we get started, the schedule, we're going to have soccer every day. So I think they have like 4 or 5 matches every day starting,
Yeah, I gotta look at the time frames. There's going to be a Thanksgiving game, for sure.
Yeah.
I really have to look at it, but this whole World Cup being a Qatar thing is one of the most corrupt things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, I saw
in sports and history.
I saw yesterday they were already doing. I think it was like some Danish news. They were already reporting a Qatar. They're doing like a sports spot about Qatar. And they got like interrupted. These people came over saying you can't film. I guess they have privacy laws or like thing. If somebody doesn't want to be filmed in public, they don't have to be. Like they come, but apparently it's a whole thing because it's like, hey, we have permission. They're saying like we have permission from the Ministry of News and Propaganda that it's okay to film here. It's kind of
the propaganda machine over there has been insane. Like the freaking dead bodies underneath those stadiums is unreal. But who knows?
I mean, like I said, I'm watching. I'm not going to be like 24 hours centered on it. I'm going to try to watch for the big stories, especially following USA team because I know we're going to follow it here. So yeah, but I don't expect much. I mean, it's men's soccer. I mean,
but the goal for United States is to get experience. With the men's team missing out on the World Cup in 2018 was huge.
Yeah,
it hurt the generation. Like people don't understand when a country misses the World Cup, it's a lot. You lose out on a lot of money. You lose out on the fan base, the future kids like that. Think about all those kids who get hooked because they watched the World Cup and now they want to play soccer and join the World Cup one day. And how many kids you just missed out on that in 2018. Yeah. And a lot of these kids that are playing now, they saw that in 2014. They saw like the crazy games that they were able to put together then. So, the goal is they're really young. It's to move on to 2026 with the World Cup being here in the US of A and showing out in front of the home crowds here. But yeah,
who's your favorite to come out overall? Who do you think of the final two? Who are we seeing in the final?
Oh man.
Final? Who are your favorite teams? You want to roll out the ball? You say,
I'm rooting for Argentina. Besides Costa Rica, but like realistically, teams to win it. I'm rooting for Argentina. It's going to be a stretch for them to get it. But, I'm between Brazil and France. Brazil is fucking stacked. Brazil is so stacked. They're so stacked. Like there's players on there that didn't get called up to the team that should have. Brazil is really good, and man, the French attack is so good. Like you got Karim Benzema and Kylian Mbappe. Like that French attack is going to be so good. And you still got Antoine Griezmann, but man, and then on Brazil you have Neymar, you have Vinicius Jr. who just won the Champions League with Real Madrid. You have I'm curious who's going to play striker for Brazil, but man, I'm between those two. Those two are really good. But I do think Argentina has a fighting chance. There's going to be a lot of emotions because this is going to be Messi's last World Cup.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying with the way that the groups and everything shakes out, that it is possible you could see a Ronaldo-Messi World Cup final, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Portugal's strong enough this year, this cycle. Portugal, they should get out of their group, but they're going to have a tough road to get. I just don't think they have the talent that they used to have. Ronaldo's aging. He's especially with all the drama going on recently.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring up
United.
that story. I was just about to talk about Ronaldo.
Man, he wants out of there so bad.
How old is he? He's like 37, right? He's like 37 years
37,
old.
Yeah.
And he what was the trouble? Tell me the whole drama. Tell me from front to back. He left the team. He came back, and now people don't like him. I don't know what's going on.
So basically, everything that's been going on, it all kind of started in the off season. So coming into the season in the transfer window, Ronaldo wanted out. He wanted out of Old Trafford. He wanted to get out of Man U. They wouldn't get rid of him. They get rid of him. I mean, season starts. He's been kind of off and on. He hasn't been looking too great, but not like bad either. I think people just expect so much more about him because he's Ronaldo.
Yeah. Has he been starting? Yeah, I was going to say.
He hasn't been starting on a consistent basis. Certain games he's starting, certain ones he's not. He's just been extremely inconsistent. And then everything happened when he walked out of the field and went straight to the locker room mid-game. He pulled in Antonio Brown, essentially.
Oh, okay. Dude,
but didn't take his shirt off, but he just walked out. He tried to defend himself, but I don't know. The dude walked off.
Yeah, I know he recently did an interview with Piers Morgan. People were talking about.
So leading to that. So then they had a game for the UEFA Nations League. So he's playing in Portugal. All the Portuguese fans are saying that we need to think about the future. Ronaldo shouldn't be on this team anymore. He's 37 years old. There's some young talent that could be here instead of him. But then his sister, which she is notoriously known for always speaking out way too much, and she just needs to shut up and not say anything, saying that I forgot exactly what she said, but she was basically saying you guys need to respect Ronaldo after everything he's ever done for you and all this stuff. He didn't respond to that. And then, he just had the Piers Morgan interview where he basically just went in on the manager.
He was saying they don't like me. I guess they changed new management, and they're like, oh, they don't like me. They've always wanted me to say, they want me to get, they've been wanting to get rid of me.
He doesn't like the new manager at all. Him and I don't know how to pronounce his name, but they've been clashing all season. Everything, because I think Ronaldo, he's got a big ego. He wants to play, and with everything going on, and then Man U's just been kind of a shithole in general. They haven't been the same in a long time. They're on the downhill now. They've been really bad. This is the first time they didn't make the Champions League in a very long time.
Yeah.
So they have that. So I'm curious to see what ends up happening in this winter transfer window. What ends up going on? Are they going to move on from him post World Cup? Which is probably, if I had to guess, probably going to happen. But I also wouldn't be too surprised if they kept him for whatever reasons. They couldn't get the people to pay the money because obviously they're going to want a lot of money for him for that transfer fee. But who knows? I'm curious to see what happens. But as much as I would love to see a Messi Ronaldo World Cup final, that'd be amazing to see some of the two greatest players of our generation and probably of all time go up one against each other. It would be epic. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love to see Messi get World Cup, man. I love to see. He got his first international trophy 2 years ago with the Copa America.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get another one.
Maybe he'll come to MLS. Maybe he's seen Miami, man. Maybe it's a Ronaldo.
Speaking of that, just to end it, we can end it there. Yeah. Is the rumors have been ramping up heavy about Messi and Ronaldo, one of them two coming here. Especially the Messi rumors have been extremely ramping up. Messi's came out and said that he's not going to make any decisions until after the World Cup. Messi's contract ends in the summer of 2023, so that's realistically when we'll see him move. Right now, the three biggest bidders is for him to stay at PSG, him to go back to Barcelona, or come to Miami. First of all, I think it's just really cool to think that Miami is like on that same level as like a Barcelona and a PSG to come. I think it helps that
it's very Spanish. It's very Latin. International, so
he has a lot of connections. He has a house here. He has a lot of business options here, opportunities here. So it's really cool to see that level. And then with everything going on with the Ronaldo drama, there's also been talks of Ronaldo even possibly being linked here. So, man, like in a perfect world, imagine if you can get both of them. I just don't see that happening. I don't think there's enough money to get both of them.
Jorge Mas don't got that much money.
Well, I know for a fact that Jorge Mas got money. Jorge Mas is a billionaire, but
he got some Ronaldo and Messi money.
Yeah. Well, the biggest hurdle is going over the MLS rules, and there's one thing I know about the MLS, and I've been following the MLS for a while. MLS will bend the rules if they know it's best for the MLS.
Because they're going to sell out tickets wherever he goes, wherever Messi goes.
They're going to sell out tickets. If it requires coming up with a new rule like they did with David Beckham, now there's these DP rules. Every team gets 3 DPs. That's called the Beckham rule. That was something. It was a way to get Beckham over here. It's players that do not count towards the salary cap. So until even if it means like changing the salary cap and raising it dramatically instead of. Because MLS has very weird, convoluted rule sets. So, I mean, if that means just like raising the salary cap as a whole to like $30 million a year, or adding another DP, I don't know. MLS is going to. I'm sure Jorge Mas, Inter Miami, and MLS are working together to get one of those two guys here because they just signed the big Apple deal that starts next year. Obviously, the more subscriptions they get, the more money MLS gets, and I'm sure. In those deals and negotiations, MLS was telling Apple, like, hey, pick us up.
Put this on your service. You can put Messi on.
There's a realistic possibility that we could have
Messi live.
Yeah. And especially in 2026 post-World Cup in the United States, that's when fandom is going to shoot up the highest because that's in 94 when MLS was created. 94, MLS was literally created because of the hype that the World Cup was here. So with the infrastructure now in place with all MLS teams and stuff, in 2026, it's going to be even bigger. So, like, post-2026, I could realistically see MLS becoming a top 5 league in the world. Some people might think it's crazy, but I genuinely believe that. But, yeah.
So, we'll have that and more. I think that's going to cover it for this week. All the footballs. Football. We didn't talk any NBA. We're going to wait for Jody to come back. Hopefully, Jody will see us next week. Definitely when we come back, the MLS is going to be the FIFA World Cup. FIFA World Cup is going to be happening. Real fast podcast. See, I appreciate. I was kind of buffering, giving music. But you got the music.
It was fucking with me. I was trying to get it. It wasn't really, but yeah. Excited for all the sports. This is going to be a really jam-packed winter. Really awesome. Hope all you guys are excited for everything that's coming up. And yeah, Gabe, where can the people find the podcast?
Real fast podcast, all the things. YouTube, we appreciate subscriptions. Our views went up. Some subscribers went up. We appreciate y'all for checking us out.
Yeah, we want to thank you guys for having our best episode to date last week. That was awesome to see. Hopefully we can keep it going to where every episode's our best episode. So, yeah.
On the IG, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. Real Fan Podcast. We appreciate it. We'll see y'all next week. More sports. More NFL, NBA, UFC, all sports. We'll be right here next week. See y'all.
Peace.